everybody, and welcome back to the WNH podcast. My name is Will Hamilton, and before I start, I want to thank you guys for the support on the first episode, for your text messages, for everything like that. I really appreciate it. So for today, I kind of want to build on a little bit of what I talked about last week. Basically, I did like a mental health check-in for anybody who missed it. It's up on the channel. Go check it out if you've gotten some time and you want to go check it out. Probably be a little bit longer than this one right here. So, when I was kind of struggling through a lot of my mental stuff, I depended on mainly two things. One was video games, which I'm going to go into a lot later when I decide to talk more about my streaming and more about my YouTube and gaming channel and everything. But the other thing, and what I want to talk about today, is music. Many different ways of music. So, yeah, I just want to go into music for, just a little bit. Just talk and, just see who maybe I can connect with how I kind of see music now. So, yeah, when I was going through everything, music really was what helped me through it. And just kind of all different types of things of music, all different types of genres I was listening to. I was singing or rapping or whatever I could. Music was just me. Music were like this pretty much. And so it was always something that I kind of turned to when I needed some comfort or something. And that led to many different things. Like, I've got a playlist that's like 100+ hours of just music of like some songs I find daily. I've got tons of playlists for different types of things or different types of people, and that's just kind of how that's been going until I decided to start making music myself. So with making music, I started, first song I ever put out was March of 2022. I did a song with one of my best friends. His name's Caden. If you don't know him from my other channel, we did a song. It was called Let You Know. It was not very good. Before then, I've always liked writing lyrics to songs. So like I would find remix beats or like instrumentals to like popular songs, and I would just be writing them in my phone, just writing lyrics and remixes and stuff to them. I always did that when I was younger. It was just kind of what I enjoyed. But then Caden texted me about a song, and so we started looking for beats. Actually, no, let me back up. Before then, so the first song that I ever worked on, it was me and Caden, and then one of our friends named Travis. We had a song that we all found a beat, kind of liked it, and then we all started writing to it, and we just ended up never finishing it. That was in October of 2021. So that was the first song I ever worked on. But I always kept writing and I always kept beats, but I never really tried to do anything until March 2022. And so then that was when me and Kate made that song, Let You Know. It's not very good, in my opinion. It's on SoundCloud. Yeah, it's on his SoundCloud, I'm pretty sure. But you can probably find it through mine, or you can find his account through my SoundCloud. It's on there. I didn't really want to put it anywhere else, but I mean, it's there. So if you want to hear it, you can go ahead and hear it, see where I came from, I guess. But then that prompted me to release my own single, which I think it was called Good and Tough. I dropped that in like May of 2022. And again, I'm not going to say it's the best song. It's not bad though. Like, it's a song I could listen to, but like, is it in my daily rotation like my other songs? No, not at all. But yeah, I mean, we all have to start somewhere. That one's on SoundCloud too. If you want to go check it out, go check it out. I'm not gonna make you do anything. But with making music, I kind of just stopped after I made Good and Tough. I always wanted to do more, but like I just saw it as fun then. And then I started going through a lot of stuff with work and school and a relationship, and life just got really hard. And then I didn't work on a single thing of music from May until August. I got another text from Caden that he had a song for me and Travis, and as soon as I heard the beat, I just immediately got to writing, finished a verse, recorded it, and we had the song done in August, but we ended up not dropping it until October because of stuff we had to fix on it. But that song is called "What You Doing," like YWD exclamation point. Sorry, YWD question mark. Kind of, how you say what you doing, pretty much. And it, in my opinion, is like the most fun I've had being a part of a song. That song's on SoundCloud as well, on Cadence. I was gonna put it with all my other songs everywhere else, but I just didn't because it was under his name. Maybe that song might be going eventually, though. I don't know. I'll have to talk to him about that. But that song is really what made me fall in love with making music. I was already in love with listening and finding music, but I fell in love with making it whenever we did that song. And then adding in everything that I was already going through, like my relationship had ended the day before that song dropped. Like that night before, my like relationship just ended, and like I was in like a very negative place. And then he texted me, he's like, "Hey, song's out at midnight," and then it dropped. People loved it, and we were just really excited. It could kind of like, I turned to music after that. I was on a trip when it happened. I think I started on the way back from the trip. I was finding beats. I found like 3 or 4 beats, wrote to a bunch of them, and then one of those beats, which I actually didn't even think I would start writing to or like, was my song "Faded," which is on all platforms. Every song that I say after this is on all platforms: Spotify, Apple Music, SoundCloud, YouTube, Tidal. Wherever you listen to music, you can most likely find my stuff. You can also use it as sounds on TikTok and I think Instagram too. So wherever you listen to music, you can hear any of these songs that I'm gonna say next. So "Faded" was a song I dropped in November. Yeah, that was the first song where after I started taking stuff serious. Yeah, it was a song I really enjoyed. It didn't take me long to make. Like, I found the beat in like October. I didn't really do anything until maybe like November 1st or 2nd, and then the song was dropping November 4th. Like, I once I got going, I didn't really stop with that song, and it's one of my favorites that I've put out. And then fast forward to December 2022 is when I dropped my next song, which was called "Act Right," and it was like a super I can't think of the word, like up tempo beat. It was very like lighthearted sounding, and it was just a fun song to make. It's interesting because it's not one of my favorites, but it's the song that, like, for people, like when I go and promote my music or I go and tell people to check out my stuff and let me know what they think, it's the song that I hear the most from. Like, I was with Caden, and Caden told me that it's his favorite song that I've ever done. And so it's like, it's weird because it's not one of my personal favorites, but people love it. I think it's the most streamed song out of all my songs on SoundCloud. And I think in the past week it's the most streamed of all my songs on Spotify. I don't really know about Apple Music, but in the past week it's the most streamed out of all my songs on Spotify. I know that. So then after that, I kind of was not really making music because I started working a bunch, and I was in between like starting a new job and then going back to school. And so my next song didn't drop until like March this year. I dropped one of my in my opinion, one of my favorite songs that I've put out, called "Splashin'." Yeah, it's one of my favorite songs. I think everything I recorded in that was recorded in about a day. It was one of my favorite songs, and it was, I think, the first song that I did after meeting I met a bunch of people who make music and do stuff, and it was like a group that I got put into where we just all made music and started talking. And then one of my good friends, her name's Maddie, she makes music too, everywhere if y'all want to go check her out. I think her handle is m.h. She makes really great music in my opinion, but she just gave me an idea about a beat, and then I ended up finding a perfect beat, started writing, and just never really stopped. Dropped the song, and people loved it. I loved it. It's one of my favorite songs. And so then, yeah, that came out in March. Fast forward to, I think it was April. Yeah, right around my birthday, I started working on what, in my opinion, is my favorite song I've ever dropped. It's called Meant to Be. And I love the beat. It's one of my favorite beats, probably my favorite song I've ever done. So I did Meant to Be was finished like mid-April, sorry. But I just decided to wait on it because I didn't know. I was working on trying to find a distributor to put my stuff on all platforms, kind of like how I do now. I was looking to find a distributor, and the one I found was not very good. So then I was trying to figure out what I was going to do. So in that time, I ended up making my other song, which is actually my most streamed song on Spotify, called Off the Map. And being honest, that song I'm not a huge fan of, but people loved it. Like, it's my most streamed song. And the reason I'm not a big fan of it is just because, so Off the Map was some verses that I had on other songs that I preferred. Like, the two songs that I took verses from to make that song, that were like my own verses, obviously, where it was two songs that I had with Caden that we ended up never finishing. One of those beats was like my favorite, and then one of those verses was like my favorite verse I've ever done until recently. The stuff I've got working on now is like, I love the stuff I'm working on now. But those beats like were very, very good, and I'm mad that we never got them finished, but I put them on a song. And so yeah, then I decided to drop those two. I think I dropped those two my finals week back this past semester. So it was like May 1st, May 2nd, around that time. I dropped both of those on a little 2-song EP called Just the Beginning. And then over the summer, I started figuring out, okay, what's the best place for me to be able to distribute my music out? And so I found a great distributor and started putting my music everywhere. Dropped those 5 songs that I've already named on all platforms, the same ones I mentioned earlier. And I titled it Came From Nothing. And yeah, I got really good feedback on it. People love the stuff, and I'm glad. So then, since then, I've been just putting music out everywhere. I dropped a song called Used to This July 28th. I think it was July 28th. It was the last Friday in July. I dropped that song Used to This. I personally love it. It's one of my favorites too. I mean, I love all my songs because I'm biased. I made them, obviously, but it was one of the songs that, like, when I was first finishing it up, I was like, oh yeah, this is it. This is the one. And then fast forward to now, since then I've dropped another song. I dropped a song this past Friday called Finer Things with my cousin E. Yeah, that's one of my favorite songs. Probably my favorite now besides Meant to Be. I love Finer Things. It's such a good song. Just a feel-good song. The beat's super catchy, and I feel like all the verses and the hooks are great on it. So if you have not checked it out, go check it out. It's my name on all my platforms is same as the name of this podcast, WNH. Same as my other YouTube, WNH. I think the only thing that's different from WNH and everything is my Twitch and like my personal social medias. But definitely, if you want to go check out all of my socials, that would be great. Check out all my music. WNH would be awesome. But now that we are here, I want to give an announcement. This is an announcement that only a few people know. I have not really spoken about it too much, but I am working on an album. Yeah, I'm working on an album. It probably won't be like too long, maybe like 10 to 12 songs, depending on how many different sounds I can find. But yeah, I've had this idea for a while, but it's now finally kind of coming to fruition. Title's going to be Trial and Error, and the reason behind it, it's not really a concept album, but it kind of is. So I say it's not a concept album because there's not like a hidden meaning or like a meaning behind the album, but basically the album is and will be a bunch of different sounds, like a bunch of different types of beats, a bunch of different sounds of songs, a bunch of different like moods, a bunch of different feelings that I want to try out just to see how I like it, to see if it works with my style, and to see if I can make it something. And so that's kind of where the name Trial and Error comes from, because this is pretty much my trial and error, just figuring out what works for me and what doesn't, pretty much. And so it's gonna be a bunch of different sounds, a bunch of different styles, hopefully a bunch of different features, and just kind of me experimenting with a bunch of stuff and finding what works for me, finding what I could do better on, and trying to be more versatile, and like more versatile in my beat selection and my sound selection, just kind of like trying new things out. And I feel like the best way is to put a bunch of stuff out there and see what I kind of gravitate towards. And so yeah, so I'd say that's, if there is a concept, that's the concept, is that this is me experimenting with my, new music and stuff like that. But I don't know when it's gonna drop. I'm still ironing things out, but I have big plans coming up for it. I do want to ask though, so I've dropped 2 singles from it, Used to This and Finer Things are the 2 singles I'm going to put on it. I don't know when the album will be out. I'm still working on most of the songs, but I do have some songs finished. Would you guys like for me to drop like another single before the album, or do you guys just want all of it on the album? If you see this part, comment down below what you want me to do, okay? Because that'll really help me figure out if you guys want me to, drop another song before I drop the album. Because right now I don't really know. I just want to do whatever people want to see. So yeah, but that's a little bit about me with music. I hope you all check my stuff out. Let me know what you think. All feedback is good feedback to me. So I just, I hope you guys enjoy it. And yeah, that'll be it for this episode. Until the next one, I will see you guys. When I see you guys, take care. Peace.